Welcome to another Business Tech Planet video. In today's video, we'll show you how to use the if and or functions in Excel. Part 1 gives a brief overview of logic gates. In Part 2, we'll show you how to use the if function. Part 3 looks at using or. Part 4 focuses on and. And finally, we'll give you a useful bonus tip. In computing, functions, such as if and or, are key components in logic gates. Logic gates essentially perform different tasks, depending on whether a statement is true or false. For example, if we plug the variable x into the logic gate, and ask if x is greater than 0, it will return true. We can then choose to do something if it's true, such as outputting the word open, or outputting the word closed if it's false. If we ask if x is equal to 0, the statement returns false, because x is not equal to 0. However, if we also plug the y variable into the logic gate, we can then use the or statement. We can ask if x is equal to 0, or is y equal to 0, which returns true. This returns true because only one of the conditions in the or statement needs to be true. Now let's head over to Excel and put some of these principles into action. In this table, we have a list of dates and water pressures. We want to use the if statement to check if the water pressure is above a certain level. If it is above a certain level, we'll output a cross, to indicate attention required. Otherwise, we'll output a check mark. Let's start by clicking into the first cell in the status column. Here, type equals if open parentheses B2, which is the location of the value we want to check, less than, and we'll check for values below 80. Type a comma. Then, in quotation marks, we'll copy a check mark, which you can find in the video description. This is the output if the statement in the first parameter is true. Now type another comma. Then, in quotation marks, copy and paste in the cross symbol. This is the output if the statement in the first parameter is false. Finally, close the parentheses, and hit enter. You'll notice that all the values above 80 have crosses, and all the values below 80 have check marks. To demonstrate the or function, we're going to take the dates into consideration. We only want to display a check mark next to a row if the water pressure is below a certain level, or if the year is 2022. Let's click back into the first cell in the status column. Remove the first parameter, and type or. Then open and close parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we can create conditions. The first condition is going to check the level of the water pressure. We want to know if B2, which is the water pressure, is less than, and this time we'll put 50. Type a comma. Now for the second condition, type A2, which is the date. Then equals. And in quotation marks, we'll type the date we want to match. Essentially, we're checking to see if the water pressure is below 50. But since we don't need to worry about pressure readings from the previous year, we're also checking to see if the date is from 2022. If either of these conditions are true, we'll return a check mark. Otherwise, if both conditions are false, meaning the pressure is above 50, and the date is 2023, then we output a cross symbol. Now hit enter, and we can easily locate the pressure readings that need our attention. In this example, we'll show you how to use the and function, which is like a nor function, but this time both conditions need to be true. To get the same end product, we can rewrite the function to check for water pressures greater than 50. And also for dates that are not equal to 2022. If both of these conditions are true, we want to output a cross symbol. So let's swap the cross and the check mark. Finally, hit enter. For the bonus tip, we've added a new column for different pipes, since the pipe's material will affect the maximum water pressure. This allows us to demonstrate the switch function. When set to true, the switch function checks if all the conditions are true. If any of the conditions are true, it outputs the check mark, or whatever output you place in the last parameter of the condition. But if the switch function gets to the end of the conditions, and none of the conditions were true, it outputs the default, which in this case is a cross symbol. The first condition is a NaN function, which means both conditions must be true to return a checkmark. The pressure is okay if it's less than 80, and if the pipe is not equal to PVC. For the second condition, the pressure is okay if it's below 40, and the pipe is PVC. For the third condition, we're outputting a checkmark if any of the dates are 2022, since those are outdated readings. You could also set true to false, which checks if all the conditions are false. However, we'll leave it as true. Now, when we hit enter, we have specific pressure limits depending on the type of pipe. That's all for this video. If you found it helpful, why not buy us a coffee? We'd really appreciate it, and you'll be helping us grow the channel. Thanks for watching. Remember to check the description for additional resources. And don't forget to subscribe for more Microsoft videos.